All right, 7 o'clock.
I got 7 o'clock too, so if we can, I'm going to call this meeting to order. Number one, we do not have any public audience, so we'll move on to the minutes of November 1. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes of November 1 resolution? He always comes in at 7 o'clock. Minutes
So
of-
moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any comments, additions? Hearing none. All those in favor of the minutes, saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. That takes care of that. The next item on that I want to go into is the give us back on Atticus. Jack, give us a back on the commissioning study. Where are we with that, John?
You know, all three firms that you interviewed have been notified. SES will be presented with an agreement based on the agreement that was part of the RFP for their signatures, and then we'll get that into the signature cycle to the town manager. I guess the question procedurally is, do we need to wait for that to be in hand before we start a purchase order request?
I would say that we can authorize you to send a letter of intent. And with a letter of intent, they can start right away because we gotta get moving on this thing.
That's fine. Okay, I just now the next step with a purchase order requisition. Do we need the signed contract in hand to get that moving, or can that happen with the proposal and letter of intent?
Jeff, we've done that with letter of proposal and intent, right?
Yeah, we can't do a purchase order without a contract.
Okay, that's what I thought. So,
Yeah.
But I have spoken to SES. They're very excited to be on the team and ready to go with the next design meeting we have with at the appropriate time with TechDOT and CES.
Okay. All right. Moving on, I have nothing else for the regular meeting. As you all know, we're here basically tonight to go into an executive session to shortlist our construction manager shortlist. I have a motion to go into, Jeff, I'm sorry.
Dick, I have Jeff Wazinski with Tecton. Do we want to let him in or?
Well,
do
hang
we
on,
wanna-
hang on. I want to go into executive session. When we go into executive session, technically, the only ones that should go into executive session are the members of the Public Building Committee and anybody we want to invite. I don't know if Andrew, if you need to come in, Jason needs to come in. John, I don't think we have to have you in on the executive session. Who else, Jeff?
Tecton Architects is
I don't think
again
we
on the
need that.
call.
We don't need them in executive session either.
Can I bring him in and just tell him that we're gonna tell him
You
to
can do
leave the
that. But
meeting?
yes, I need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Okay, let me stop live stream here. Hang on one sec.
Okay. All right, we have shortlisted 5 firms. The question is, when do you want to interview and which firms you want to interview, what nights? I guess we're gonna have to do 2 nights. What 2 nights do you want to do? And we don't know if we got those nights yet because we have to get an okay from the library board. Do you want to?
We have Monday.
Monday, Tuesday.
22nd? You want to try the 22nd?
Yes.
Okay.
Monday and Tuesday, 22nd, 23rd.
11, 22nd.
Yeah, those are really the only nights that work next week.
And you want to do 11
Right.
and 11/23 also, the 2 nights in a row?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Do you want the firms to bring in their numbers? Are you gonna have the numbers for that meeting?
We'll have the numbers they've given us and then go from there.
Is,
Well, I know.
Are they capable?
They've given us numbers, John. We'll have the numbers given to us from Arcadis.
So he'll go get the numbers and distribute
He
them.
has
before
them
the-
already. They were submitted with the submittals.
Oh, right.
Okay?
Yeah, we should get those ahead of time.
Yeah, we get them ahead of time.
So does anybody want to meet about a half hour earlier to make this a little bit easier? Or you want to keep it at 7?
Yeah, I think I'm usually the one that goes for 7. I can meet earlier. That's fine.
6:30 is
I'd
fine.
like to see us meet at 6:30.
me too.
Well, that might broaden our ability to get the library for the whole time we need it.
All right, so we go 6:30 and then we take the first interview at 7. And the next interview at 7:30 each night,
7:45, I think,
7:40.
right? 45 minutes apart.
Yep.
Okay, seven
We need,
forty-five.
do we need to wait a half hour after the meeting starts to get them in?
No,
Go 6:45.
I'd do 6:45 then.
6:45, 6:30, 7:30, right?
7:30, right?
And then you
7:30.
have the next one at
8:15,
7:45.
8:15.
Yeah.
And then that one will end at 9 o'clock.
Right.
If the library's open.
And you could do 3, 2. You do 3 the first day, 2 the second day, so you have time to talk about it after.
Yep.
Yep,
Good idea.
okay.
And do it in alphabetical order like we did before.
Right now, the question is there any consideration of order who you want to see 1, 2, and 3, 4?
Alphabetical order, Dick, like we did before.
Yeah.
They picked the time they wanted to do.
No, they
No.
didn't. We told
No,
them.
we did
alphabetical order.
alphabetically.
We told them what time, but they said who wanted to come first, second, and third.
No, we put them in alphabetical order.
Right, we gave them the time.
All right, we'll come up with who it is, okay. All right, I guess the furthest one away probably would be the last. Stanko will probably be the last because they're the furthest one away. Well, all right, we'll decide that once we get the time scheduled out with the library. Okay, is there anything else we need to know?
Okay, I want to know what nights you're going to see each of them. On the 22nd, who are we going to see?
We don't know yet, sir.
And we don't know when we're going to know.
Well, let me go through this and sit down with Jim.
Well, we'll see Skanska, Fasco, Gilbane, and
ONG.
Right.
Those are the 5. He wanted to know who we were going to interview, what time. So I'll get the.
Fasco, Gilbane, and ONG, Monday night.
Right.
Say
That's
that
It's in
it.
alphabetical order already.
Right.
So you want to do Fusco? Who is it? Lucian
Gilbane
Gilbane,
and ONG.
ONG the first night. Okay, then PDS
And Skanska the second night.
and Skanska the second night. Okay, first, second, okay? All right, anything else?
What time are we starting these now?
6:30,
Okay.
okay? Anything else? Hearing none, do I hear we move to adjourn?
Is that going to be executive session?
No, these are interviews. Technically, interviews are executive sessions, yes.
Yeah.
Are we going to invite Jason and Andy and
Well, that's the question. Who do you want to invite? I think we invite Skanska, Arcadius.
Yeah.
Jason. Andy, I don't know, you want to invite Andy? Got Jason.
Personally, I
Yeah,
feel
I don't
that
see why
the more
not.
people in the room that are interested in this, the better. They don't get a vote, but they can certainly give us worthwhile information.
Well,
The
yeah.
architect.
You want to invite the architect also?
Yes.
Tecton. All right, so we're gonna have Jason and Andy from the Board of Education, and then we gotta go with Archon, Arcadius, and Tecton, right?
Yeah.
All right, anything else? All right.
Hey,
we'll
Dick,
make-
how about the principal? He was one
No.
other.
You know, I have let me back up a little bit on this. I got a call from the principal today, wanted to be involved in this right here that we're doing. The principals of the schools are not part of the project. It's Jason and Andy that are the representatives from the school. The principal will pass their information back when they get asked. They don't come in and tell us what he wants, what he doesn't want. It's not his project. It's the town's project. And I have a problem with that. We never had a principal involved in our projects ever. Why would we do it now?
I'm not advocating for it. I just want to put it on the table since
No, I think
he was interested.
The principals can come as an independent visitor and sit there unless we go into executive session and he's got to leave. But he can sit at our meetings, can't contribute anything, can't say anything, but he can sit and listen like any voter can.
But Dick, why wouldn't we want the information that he has to provide in this situation? Because he's the guy that's using the building every day.
Provide it to the owner's representative and to the architect and the engineers, not to us.
But there's not going to be time for that if we're picking somebody after these meetings. If he has some particular concerns he wants to let us know about, that meeting would be the only time to speak.
Concerns
Yeah, I
about
think-
what?
I think what's important is that the principal's not directing change orders in the middle of the project. I
Of
think we
course.
need his input now.
Yeah. So I don't, the principals have never been involved in this, Brian, with this, our selections. I don't think we should do it. I don't think we should get them involved in it. I go back to John, Rich, Lucian, Bud.
Well,
you've been
Jeff, let me ask you, did he request it?
He asked, he just wanted to come. He said, I'm going to plan to sit in on your meeting tonight. I said, wait, no. And I don't think a principal.
Is there
should-
any harm?
Pardon?
Is there any harm? He can't say anything.
Well, if he doesn't say that, but if he sits there, I suppose but he can listen as, he should not be involved in the executive session. But he can come to our regular meetings and sit there as an audience like anybody does. He can't
Okay.
say anything, but he can listen.
Well, no, if we can't have him in the executive session, then he's not coming to the meeting because the whole meeting's executive session for the last 2 meetings.
Right.
No. But he's talking about other meetings also, our public building committee with these other people afterwards. Anybody can come to a regular meeting.
But we could allow him to be in the executive
Right.
session, what you're
We
saying.
can allow him. And I don't
Because
know
we're
why-
allowing the architect,
why
we're
would-
allowing.
Why would it involve a principal? We never involved the principal. I don't see why we should involve the principal.
Maybe he knows something that we don't. Just because we can't see it doesn't mean it's going to hurt us.
Like what? We're gonna see everything through Arcadis and through the architect.
But the principal's the one that uses the building every day.
Yeah, but he's telling that to the architect, he's telling that to the owner's rep.
Right. But if we're making a decision, we don't have time for that game of telephone.
Yeah, Jason and Andy aren't going to be able to shoot down a phasing approach that won't work. The principal will.
Right, but that's not taken care of in our selection process.
But if
That's
there's
not-
something that's said in the interview that clearly isn't going to work, that's something that we might want to know. And what is the harm in letting them be there and be able to help us with that decision?
Only because you never had it before, and we never had the principals involved in selection.
Sure.
Lucian?
Well, they're not involved in selection. They're involved in listening. They're involved in giving us information.
Okay,
I think we need to make clear to these ancillary people that come in that we are the ones with the authority to select someone, not them, whether they like it or not. As long as they understand that, I think it's okay. What I don't want to do is to empower a principal to think that they can get involved directly with any one person and start making changes that don't come to us first.
Yeah.
Because that's been happening the whole time we've been doing, since
How do
I've
we
been
know
on.
they don't go out? How do we know they don't go out later and talk to the guy that didn't get selected and say you weren't selected because? I mean, there's
Well,
two,
That's, anybody could do that.
I know,
But he has to understand that executive session is not for general disbursement.
right.
And that's as simple as telling the whoever is selected that any work that doesn't come directed from Arcadis, they don't get paid for.
And Dick, I have no problem if after the interviews, we ask if they have any input and then excuse them during our deliberations. I don't need them in but having them in there while they're talking certainly is valuable. And then they
Whatever you
can,
want. Whatever you want.
Yeah, I think you're making a good point, Ryan. I'm okay with it. As long as we make sure they know their places.
Yeah.
And what the rules are.
So the rules are they can come into the executive session, they can listen and make comments before we make a selection. They leave and then we make our selection. Is that what you're saying?
I think that
You got that
solves
in our
everybody's
minutes?
problem.
We have it in a minute, make that the
Yeah.
motion.
Yep.
Want to
So
make that a
moved.
motion? So we have it as a motion?
Sure.
So moved.
So a motion to invite Jason and Andy and Tecton and Arcadis and the principal to sit in on the interviews and answer questions if we have them. And then we would adjourn into or I guess kick them out of the executive session to do voting.
Okay. Any additions or corrections to that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, good. We got that. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, we'll do it that way then. Any other comments? Jeff, anything else?
Nothing here.
Okay. Okay, folks, I guess, thank you very, very much. That was a quick meeting, quicker than I thought it was gonna be, and if there's nothing else, we'll see you and we'll get back to you. I'll get an email off to you ASAP regarding the meeting on the 22nd and 23rd, once we confirm them. Okay?
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
guys.
much. Good night,
Thank
night.
you.
Bye-bye.